next week. We're doing Space Bastards. Do they spell it with an A or an E?
Bastards?
Yeah.
Oh,
Void Bastards specifically.
that's a good question. I don't even know what Void Bastards is.
Really?
Hey, Aaron, what's Void Bastards?
Thanks, Aaron.
Nailed
Thanks,
it.
Aaron. Thanks. Thanks, Aaron.
We should include Aaron in our bumpers at the end and give him like a creepy name like Podcast Daddy.
It's gonna be real good when I have the voice of God out there.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do 2 separate recordings, so we'll have a backup because I'm not totally sure. It looks like the stream is only picking up the left channel, and I'm sure you want more than just the left channel.
That's a fact.
So I'm gonna record on both the Zoom and do a backup on the stream, and I'm gonna kick that off right now, and you guys just take your time and do whatever you want, and then let me know when you're done.
Is it recording?
It will be in a second. I'll
Okay.
let you know.
All right.
That's not a good smile. That's not a good smile.
There's no SD card in the Zoom,
Oh.
which is important.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go find one of those.
Okay.
Hey, what about that?
What about what? That's actually not that bad.
Okay,
Because these are so short throw, they don't.
you're good. All right, cool.
Man, this is great. We can record and have air conditioning at the same time. What a fucking world.
What a miracle.
Do you remember when we recorded Californium? Do you
Yeah.
remember that?
Nope.
Which time?
No, I don't remember any of them. Because I'm a well-adjusted individual
Yeah.
that erases memories that hurt me.
Like, oh my God.
Don't need that one.
Go back to nibbling on this thing.
I appreciate that the custom buttons on this controller are light up, while the others are not.
Yep.
This is the serious shit buttons.
It's an interesting choice to make it non-varnished wood because it's going to get like hand mung, you know.
I told you to stop saying that.
You know. Hand mung.
There's already enough like Owen brand horrible metaphors kicking around in my brain. I don't need more. Like a face you could grate cheese on, or a water bottle full of chili being squeezed.
Hot water bottle. That's
Yes,
important to
yes,
the image.
a hot water bottle. Sorry,
I feel like that one's not mine.
it's not.
I'm pretty sure that's you.
I'm
I feel
pretty
like that's
sure that
you
was yours.
channeling Owen.
A hot water bottle is not a thing I keep rattling around in my head. It's not one of my.
I believe
I think
that
you're
either
selling
of
yourself.
you came up
I
with
think you're
it.
selling yourself short, Owen.
And I think you're selling yourself short because I think that one's yours.
No, I don't want it.
Oh, it's like that.
Well, that's not the surfaced reason, but
Mhm.
you've broken me down to something else.
He found
Hey,
it.
That's a bingo.
So this isn't being streamed, right?
Not this time.
Okay.
Turns out it's not an SD card. It's a Switch cartridge. Like doesn't fit.
Yo, don't take
No,
it.
it's one of
It's
those.
actually Mario Cross Rabbit.
It's one of those fucking near-field cartridges he
Yeah.
got from Pink Gorilla,
Oh yeah.
and he's modified it to near-field podcasts straight to Julie.
I don't think that's near field range.
Yeah, that's not near enough.
It's near to his heart.
Oh,
We're good? Okay.
all right. Podcast
Okay.
Daddy
All right.
says we go.
What does that make me? What does that make all of us?
We're the podcast babies.
Oh boy.
New name for the podcast. Podcast babies.
So
It's not.
I'm gonna do the intro now. Welcome to Bad Playstyle. My name is Matt.
I'm Conky Bong.
I'm Owen.
You might notice a sharp increase in audio quality
Yeah.
from normal.
A real climate global temperature graph of sound quality.
We podcast now.
Longtime listeners, aka Molly, whenever she gets here, might recognize that this is not our normal recording setup.
Yeah.
We are at, where are we? Owen, where are we?
We're at Very Very Spaceship.
Where's that?
It's a game development studio in Fremont.
That's cool.
I actually don't know what games they make.
Knife crab.
I saw that on Twitter. Knife Crab.
They made that knife crab game that Jacksepticeye got really mad at, right? But beyond that, we played a video game.
Yeah.
Oh, we did?
Which video game did we play?
I played Pokemon Go.
That's not okay. While that is true, that's not the correct answer because this is a
I need you to tell me the correct answer so that I can say it to you.
But you picked it.
But you
No, we
picked it.
played Outer Wilds.
Okay, so Owen's pick was Outer Wilds. Owen, briefly, this is normally I ask you this rhetorically, but can you give us a brief description of the Outer Wilds? All right.
You're the newest member in the Outer Wilds space program. The space program on a very small planet, and you're going out into space for the first time. And about 20 minutes after you leave your home planet, your sun goes nova and the solar system dies. And you wake up again back on your planet 22 minutes prior. And it's up to you to explore your solar system in 22 minutes and figure out what the hell is going on.
Every time.
Yeah.
It's a time loop.
It's Groundhog Day.
Yeah, so I think that's the most concise pitch I can do of it.
Yeah. I think that's enough.
Yeah, I mean, I
without
think
giving
like
anything
from
away.
people that I've talked to, when I tell them about the time loop, that's usually the big hook that they get.
Yeah.
Right. So, but before we can talk about that,
Yeah.
we have to talk about something else. And this week, I'd like to talk to Conkybong, aka Keenan.
Yeah, do we want to explain that?
First. Do we want to explain
No,
that?
it's just your name.
That's your fucking
There's
name.
nothing that needs to be said about it.
It's your fucking name. And
Yeah,
I
that's
was
what your
actually-
mother named you.
I was
It's my
actually
shame name.
talking to Keenan this morning, and because we took an extra week to play this game, we did not.
I did not.
Owen
I-
and I didn't.
I had a stressful first week of our cycle and fucked up.
To be fair, I was done with the game before
we
we
started.
started.
But even if that weren't the case,
Yeah.
you would have finished it on time.
Yeah,
and
hopefully.
then I finished it.
and
I
my
think-
ass was dragging.
Yeah, and his ass was dragging. So I was saying that extra time, that's like not real time as
Yeah.
far as the whole Conkybong thing goes.
Okay.
Right.
So Conky Bong is my nickname because I have accrued too many shame credits
Yeah.
in our previous season,
Filled out a punch card.
and as a result,
Gets a free
my,
sandwich.
my Steam name, my podcast name, and my Steam avatar picture
Yeah.
all are controlled by them for the duration.
Yeah. When does that run out?
We never actually
We never established
figured that. He was asking me this morning. I was like, I don't know.
I shouldn't have said that out loud.
And then he was like, when does it run out? And I was like, I don't know. And since you were late,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
give
But
a
we're
fuck.
adding a week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like you can see the direction I'm approaching
It's
this
more
from.
effective now because I play Dead by Daylight, and that name changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's
So
no-
Because
Right.
before Rainbow Six Siege, that's on the Ubi launcher.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't change that name.
Yeah, and PUBG's the same way.
Yeah, PUBG has its own.
But I'm running around killing people with Conky Bong.
Oh yeah, so his avatar we changed. It's like I think
it's
it's like
a Chrome Yoda.
I thought it was like a bong.
Yeah,
It's
it's,
like
a
a
Chrome
black
Yoda
ceramic-
ball.
Well,
bong.
it's like ceramic. It's not chrome. Is
It's
it?
shiny black
Chrome
Yoda.
isn't a material. It's a
It is.
It's a lifestyle.
Chromium is an periodic element.
right, but nothing is made out of fucking chromium like on cars, but you still call them chrome.
I don't
Yeah, you're. Thanks, friend of the show, Brian. So
And it says bong.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And we went
Yeah.
to MS Paint and
Big
wrote
letters.
like bubblegum pink letters in all caps "bong" on there.
Which, by the way, I'm like hurting myself with this because I play video games with the kids at work, right? And every so often, a Yoda that says "bong" on it comes in the corner, and I just have to like sweat for a few seconds, like, oh boy, I hope no one notices that.
I mean, there's a way to turn off the little.
I know, but I never remember, and it's always
Yeah.
like they're in
Yo.
the middle of a match,
All
and
right,
it'll be
so-
like "bong"
So what
in
you're
the corner
telling me is at 4 p.m. I need to play like 9 different games on Steam. Is
No,
what
no,
you're
no, no,
telling
no, no.
me.
4 p.m. is when you're going to bed, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So it's always like, oh, Keenan's games are available to play on your shared account. Aren't you excited? Like, that's the notification that I'm getting. Not that you've
Okay.
started playing a game, but that you have in fact
Yo,
quit.
motherfucker went to bed, play his games.
Right, exactly. Play his games now.
So what we're saying is next time we should name Keenan like Dick Nasty or
Mm.
something.
Ineffable whale penis.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
I think what I would be going for.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, so
At least you're in
wow, what a digression. Hey, what have you been playing, Keenan? Conky Bong?
Been hitting the PUBG more.
Punished Keenan?
Yo, these season rewards suck.
Yeah,
The-
those were really
the season
bad.
just ended, and apparently, if you play at the level that we play at, you get a pair of pants and a pair of shoes.
And they both suck.
And last season, they looked cool as hell.
Yeah.
There were some like post-apocalypse, dirty bandages kind of thing.
And this time, it's biker gear that sucks.
yeah, it's
I
like
mean, if you
acid wash jeans with pouches,
If
like
you-
pouches.
if,
Liefeld level pouches.
yeah, yeah. There's like
There's
a
pouches on your calves, bro.
there's a cargo pocket on the back of your calf.
what? What is that? What's the use case?
And there's like a tiny little button-up pocket above your knee.
It's bad.
They're awful.
Those
Oh my
aren't pants
God.
people wear.
No, those are pants Final Fantasy characters wear.
And K-pop artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the same thing.
I definitely got big like Korean clothing fashion
Yeah.
vibes from it.
And the shoes are totally unremarkable.
I actually don't know what they are.
They're black boots, like
Oh,
black
yeah.
combat boots, and then they have like slight brown accents.
Okay.
They should at least give you the sweatshirt for the losing Super Bowl team, right?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Actually,
That'd be all
I
right.
would have
Because I mean, like Erangel's supposed to be in like Eastern Europe somewhere
Yeah.
or something, right?
I think they should
Somehow an island. In
they should
Eastern
they should
Europe.
give you the sponsored streamer gear of whichever streamer just got delisted from the PUBG store.
Yeah. With like an X across it.
Yeah. And like when you get the notification, it says like we had 10,000 of these in a warehouse and we have to get rid of them before taxes.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I want-
exactly.
I want the Dr. Disrespect X'd out
Oh.
t-shirt.
Oh, that'd be good.
That'd be real good. Member of the Punished Daddy.
But hey, don't talk about PUBG anymore.
Okay. I also. What else have I been doing? A friend dragged me back into HOTS.
Oh.
That was okay.
Okay.
More Dead by Daylight. Ghostface is public now. They tooled him back.
That's the guy from Scream.
Yeah.
Okay.
They tooled him back down to not being totally terrible to play against, so that's
Okay.
cool.
He looks pretty fun.
Yeah, he's neat.
The whole stocking mechanic seems fun.
Yeah, I like that you're playing hide and seek with the killer. I
Right.
think that's a cool mechanic when everyone else is like inexorable
Well,
dude with a machete.
I like all the killers where the end game and beginning are different.
Yeah,
Right, like there's a lot of killers where your strategy does not change throughout the match.
yeah. Find them and kill them.
Right,
That's
yeah.
what you do most
Right,
of the
and
time.
here are your tools to do that. I like the killers where you have to, like hot style, like build charges or tokens or
Yeah.
whatever, and then reach this like peak of strength and
Yeah.
take them out. And they thought they were doing really well, and then now they're not.
I
right?
think they've paid attention to like what people like doing and
Right.
started pointing themselves towards that.
it's cool. Those French guys know what they're doing.
It's really weird because it's one of and the community really like doesn't like when there's an unbalanced quote unquote update, because normally what they'll do for chapter updates is there will be a survivor and a killer in a new map, but this is like a weird like
So killer only.
0.5 update.
Okay.
Is
with
that what they
just
mean
the
by
killer.
unbalanced? Just that it doesn't have the corresponding.
Right. So people play this game in like survivor or killer main type
Okay.
fashion, and so people get upset when. Oh no way! People get upset when the meta changes, right?
Yeah.
But they get upset when the meta changes and it feels like their side doesn't get anything,
Sure.
whether it's one way or the other.
Okay.
So, people being babies about metas.
I mean, I just feel like from a developer's perspective, wouldn't it be easier to shake up the meta one way and then figure out what that guy's doing and what the fun counterplay would be?
Right.
And then
Instead
implement
of
that?
having to
Yeah.
let this into the wild, see what happens with it, work with
yeah,
that.
and that's kind of like the siege mentality, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of it.
Yeah. All right. Owen,
That's
Yeah.
pretty much what I've played.
I felt like he was done. So
I started playing two very rough games in very different ways.
okay,
I started playing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
okay.
The
I
original
see
one.
what you mean by rough games now.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that game came in extremely hot when it came out a decade ago.
Mhm.
By the way, it came out a decade ago.
Please don't say things like
Yeah.
that.
Why
Came
do you
out a
hurt me?
decade ago.
Oh. Don't say it's softer.
It's really cool though. It's gotten a bunch of unofficial patch love over the years. It was a fucking janky mess, but
uncompletable.
Yeah, even in its state now though, where it's kind of cleaned up and not very buggy and things like that, it is like the living image of like the business term minimum viable product.
Right.
Where like you can see, like the shortcuts are so laid bare in like the way they populate the map with NPCs or the way they fill out the environment.
There's that guy with the not a do-rag but like a bandana
Yeah,
and a
yeah.
wife beater.
Yeah, there's a
and
lot
he's
of
got
those
like
guys.
recolors.
Troika Games.
Yeah.
Well,
Big dreams, incomplete products.
Yeah. Yeah, or like when you go up into there's one part where you go up in a skyscraper and you're in like an office, and if you look out the window, there's like 4 big buildings repeated a lot. Like it would make for a very unusual city
It's like
skyline.
an early 2000s ass skybox. Like,
Yeah. And there'll be times where like I was in a museum, and there's that kind of cubicle that you see in universities where it's floor to ceiling walls, but the walls only go up to like a bit above head height, and then there's like a glass window the rest of the way to the ceiling. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
I'm just envisioning the museum level in Payday 2, where there's like normal size wall, but then the ceiling is like 10 feet higher.
So anyway, what I'm getting at though is that, like, it's supposed to be like a privacy wall, right? Like it's supposed to be above eye line, and then there's glass the rest of the way to the ceiling. But if you jump, you can peer in, and all the ones that are like this, where the doors are unopenable to the player, you can peer through the glass and see that there's nothing in the cubicles.
Oh man.
That all the ones that are inaccessible are empty and things like that. And so it's like, and the game is like replete with like quite lavishly overbuilt environments at times. Like
And then like barely any window dressing.
yeah. Like I appreciate the way it makes all those spaces feel real when they have this big ballroom that like you don't really need as a player, but it makes this hotel seem like a good place. But it's pretty clear that like with the money they had, they like their scope should have been calibrated differently. And like I'm not trying to like bag on the developers at Troika, like whatever.
Right. Right. This is a 10-year dead thing.
Yeah,
like,
but you can definitely see though like where they chose to invest their money, and then like the money ran out and they're like, yikes, we got to get this thing out.
Right.
Still pretty all right game. The combat hasn't aged very well, but
That is what I keep hearing.
Yeah.
I've talked to a lot of people because of the recent announcements.
Yeah.
Right? I've talked to a lot of people about that game, and 2 years ago, everyone was like, "Great game, perfect game.
Yeah.
Reinstall it every time I hear someone talk about it."
Yeah.
And I feel like Deus Ex was the same way a few years ago, right?
yeah, I feel like the combat for Deus Ex holds up better for me than this does.
Sure, but I'm saying like I feel like there's some sort of mathematical relationship between time and the intensity with which you feel the need to reinstall the game.
Yeah.
Based
That's a
on how
fact.
long ago it was, right? Yeah.
But like, it's a cool game. I had a really funny thing happen where that museum I was talking about, I was supposed to go get a MacGuffin.
Right.
And what's supposed to happen is you walk into the room with the MacGuffin, and the table that the MacGuffin be on,
It's gone.
yeah, it's not, the MacGuffin's on the table,
Gone.
and there's a dude sitting there in the corner with his arms crossed, waiting. And he's like, well, like, look what finally the cat dragged in. And here's the thing, though. My character has an ability called Auspex, where I can see people through walls.
Right. So
And-
you knew he was fucking there.
Yeah, and
I fucking saw you,
I had
dude.
Auspex on for like 20 minutes as I was like working my way up to this dude, and I can see his silhouette, and he's sitting there waiting for me with his arm crossed. Like, you dweeb.
Yeah.
Like,
Fucking asshole, be bored or something.
yeah.
Yeah. He's just hanging out up there.
Yeah, and that's not even like a vampire wasn't like a unfinished game thing. That's just like a video game thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit here until you trigger me.
That like Beckett doesn't have like an idle animation even
Yeah.
really. But I don't know. I played that. I've been having fun. I got to a part in the game I don't like, and I kind of fell off it, and I don't know if I'm gonna get back
What's
on.
the part?
You fight like Zimshi monsters. These
Oh
little
yeah,
heads.
the ceiling, the sewers.
Yeah. I got to the actual Zimshi vampire,
Right.
or Zimishi or whatever.
We can't possibly say it right.
Yeah, and he's like in a basement, and he's like one-shotting me, and like the boss fights are like the worst part of the combat in that game.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what? I just don't care.
Right.
And part of it is I have foreknowledge that like the little monsters I've been fighting my way to get to this guy. I've not fought very many of them yet, and I remember fighting a lot of them in this game. So I know that even after I beat this guy, I
This
gotta
is like way more. Yeah.
yeah, it's just like, oh my god, I'm gonna play something else.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the other game I've been playing, which is a fucking weird experience. I started playing Star Trek Online, the Star Trek massively multiplayer online role-playing game that came out a decade ago as well. First of all, kind of crazy jumping into an MMORPG that has been
It's
out for
like
a
10 years
decade,
late, yeah.
and transitioned from subscription model to free-to-play model.
Successfully,
Yeah,
quote unquote.
yeah.
It's still running, if that's
Yeah.
what you mean.
Like I feel like my head's underwater all the time. There's so many stats and numbers. There's so many currencies, and the game doesn't onboard you like fucking at all.
Yeah.
Well, and that game's definitely like had like large scale updates multiple times. And,
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah. Totally.
I remember them advertising like we did the DS9 update and like
Yeah. That was pretty recent.
yeah, like they've
was, like, in the
definitely like
last
made
year.
a big deal anytime they add things to that game.
I remember because I follow some of the actors from Deep Space Nine on Twitter, and they were like, "Hey, I did voice acting in this. You should go play it."
Yeah.
And I was like, "I'm not playing that."
This is my
'Cause no one should-
contractually obligated Twitter post.
Yeah. So like the gameplay of that game consists of two parts of you being up in your ship flying around in space,
So
like remodulating your shields, and then also
Right,
you
yeah.
beaming down to plant what?
I had I totally fucking lost it. Anyway, beaming down. You were saying.
Yeah, so it's two games essentially.
Okay.
Like one where you're like a little dude running around and you have like abilities that you can use and like you can do trick karate chops and
Yes.
stuff and like shoot
Excellent.
phasers and throw frag grenades apparently because that's a core
Those
part
are
of Star
thing,
Trek.
yeah.
And that's like the worst part of the game is like being on foot. Like it just feels like a very cheap
We
MMO.
made an MMO.
And none of the worlds like feel like Star Trek environments at all, which kind of bums
That's a
me
bummer,
out.
yeah.
But the ship combat's fantastic. I
Good.
love it.
It should be.
It's got shield facings, and you're moving in real time. So like, and like your weapons have like firing arcs and things like that. And you move in 3 dimensions too. You move on a Z
Sweet.
axis, so you can like get under ships and things like that.
Sweet.
A lot of
Bridge Commander was good like that.
yeah. It's definitely like that type of thing.
Okay, cool.
And you, depending on who you've recruited into your bridge crew, you get different like Star Trek ass things to do with your ship. Like I can have my science officer like make a beam that's got a funny name and it'll turn their shields off, and I can have my engineer make my ship fart warp plasma, and anyone who gets in the warp plasma takes damage. But my ship has a really very bad turning arc while I'm doing that. And
So does the ship fly like an airplane, or like you just have forward thrust and you have to adjust like your angle, or does it 6-axis? Or
So what it is it'll always you can fly forward and reverse, but you don't fly forward by like holding forward. You have a throttle up and throttle down key.
So it's more like a boat.
So I can tell like go to half impulse and it'll
Okay.
go at 50% speed, and then I can steer it like an airplane.
Okay.
You can turn in place very slowly. I don't think you can move straight vertically and like up and down, which
is mostly like
which
an
you
airplane.
should be able to because they do that sometimes.
Yeah.
But like whatever.
This is mostly like an airplane.
Yeah, kind of.
That's how they've done it in the past in other games. So like that
Yeah.
makes sense in the
So
Star
just
Trek
wondering,
video
like,
game
is it like Star Wars style like fighter planes writ large, or is it like the optimal strategy is to try to keep your disc facing the enemy to create a lower
No,
like,
it's not-
profile to be shot
No.
at?
It's not like
Right.
flotilla.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing is they actually do like a really good job of like creating an interesting variety of ships that operate in a lot of different ways. Like there's like escort vessels that will have just like a lot higher impulse speeds, and so you're more capable of getting your front face to face enemy ships, which means that you can use the more powerful weapons that have narrower firing arcs. And so your playstyle ends up being more like you do strafing runs like a fighter
Right.
plane or something, and you're just shooting torpedoes out of the front of your ship.
Right. Like that's how Bridge Commander worked, was like you'd be like, I already messed this shield up, so I'm gonna prioritize getting around to this part of the shield to punch a hole in
Yeah.
and get some
Well,
damage
but
done.
if you're doing strafing runs like that, it's hard to attack the same facing all the
Yeah.
time. So you're just counting on the fact that you are hitting them so hard.
Right.
It doesn't matter that you have to like loop around and maybe wind up hitting their starboard side instead of
Right.
their front or whatever. So I've been playing that with my friends. The microtransactions are real in that game.
Nice.
Anytime anyone buys something from the microtransaction shop that's over a certain value, it tells literally every single player in the game what happened, like who it was and what they bought. It says in the middle of your screen, it says like Admiral Bluntmaster just bought the Daedalus pack in the Zen store, and it's like
Yes.
great.
Thank you, Admiral Bluntmaster,
Yeah.
for spamming me.
So yeah, those are the games I've been playing. They're very
It's called the Zen Store.
Zen is the currency. I don't know why.
Doesn't Star Trek not have currency?
Oh, so here's the thing. The game is like right full of like things that are like so like if you're not a Star Trek viewer, this won't make sense why this is such a big deal to me. But like Star Trek has like a very specific ethos as a franchise and like has things it does and does not have. Like Star Trek is a post-currency society. It's a post-scarcity, all that. How and they're supposed to be like more evolved people than us. They don't submit to petty jealousies or racial hatreds and things like that. However, when you go to Starfleet Academy, the school where you learn to be a good little space kid, there's gun stores in Starfleet Academy where you
Hell
can go
yeah.
exchange money for rifles. There's like racks of rifles on the wall. It's bizarre. Also, because it's an MMORPG, you just kill way more things than they ever would on Star Trek.
Yep.
Like when the away team beams down on the show, they maybe ice an alien or two if like shit gets really wild. On a typical away mission, I'll kill like 60 people.
Yep.
We'll get in these like 40 ship naval engagements, and it's not even like one of any particular historical note. Like one time in the show, a single Borg cube destroyed like 20 Federation ships, and it's like the most traumatic thing to have happened in the Federation. And like we get engagements like that like when we're bored. It's I can't get over these like the tonal whiplash on some of the stuff in that
Yeah.
game. It is absolutely
It's a Star Trek game, but really we just put a Star Trek skin on our sci-fi MMO.
The ship combat actually feels a lot like Star Trek.
Okay.
The ground stuff just feels like a generic ass MMO.
Okay.
So that's what I've been playing.
That all sounds really unfortunate.
The ship combat part is really fantastic. I really do love it. It really sucks when you get on a mission that requires you to beam down. It's like, man, come on. I don't
I
want
mean,
to.
like, arguably the best part of Star Wars Galaxies was ship combat.
I never got into it.
Ah, it was great.
I quit before that expansion came out.
They put in basically X-Wing versus TIE Fighter on
Yeah.
top of that game, and it was perfect. It was real good.
All right.
What have you played?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Matt didn't play any video
No,
games.
I played Outer Wilds and then some games at school. That was it. It was like Gang Beasts and stuff. So nothing really to write home about.
The usual Warframe.
Yeah, as far as that goes. No, I mean after I finished the Outer Wilds, I didn't really feel like doing anything. So
Fair.
Yep.
It's a big game.
yeah. Which leads us to our next topic.
Hey.
Hey, what was wrong with the Outer Wilds?
I don't know. I don't think much. Like, I have like nitpicky things for it. Podcast Daddy's looking at us. Oh yeah, he wants to not hear about this game. There we go.
Okay.
Hey, what was wrong with the Outer Wilds?
I don't know. Not like honestly, I don't have any major picks. I used to feel more sore about the anglerfish, but I don't.
I didn't like the anglerfish, but I also recognize that the way I had to cram the end of this game in is my fault. I felt like I didn't play the game right for the first half of my time with it because I didn't move around when I got stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, you had told me, me,
Yeah.
like, hey, when you get stuck, just go somewhere else.
Just go somewhere
There's
else.
hooks everywhere.
Well, and also everything's interconnected, so if you go somewhere else,
Right.
you'll learn something about the place you got stuck at.
Right. And so that helps a lot. I didn't like the way that felt when I felt like I should go somewhere and do all the things when that's not how you play this. But that's me playing bad, not the game's fault.
It's your own bad playstyle.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the name of the show.
I wasn't. The anglerfish feel like thematically wrong to me.
Really?
Because like nothing else is a hazard in that way. Like
The cactus is.
So once you understand the rules of the anglerfish,
Oh, yeah.
they stop being. So I felt the same way. I felt like the anglerfish were a execution puzzle in the middle of what
An
is
experiential
what
game.
what is a exploration puzzle,
Right.
Where you go and you learn the trick and then you go do the thing, which is exactly how the anglerfish work in the end.
Right.
You go learn the trick and then you go do the thing.
Yeah, I felt like I never really understood when I could and couldn't move
Oh, you
around
wanna
them.
tell him?
So
No, I know the thing. Like they hear, they don't see. Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
get that.
But so here's the trick that makes the anglerfish really easy.
Okay.
It makes it like it's more of just
It
like
makes it trivial.
they can only hear you if you fire a probe,
Mm-hmm.
or if you translate your ship in any way, move
Right.
in any direction. However, you can rotate in place at any time, and they cannot hear you rotating in place. So you can always look over your shoulder.
Yeah,
Interesting.
They can't hear your what are they called? Reaction thrusters.
Yeah. So.
The spaceship design.
That spaceship design uses the reaction thrusters also as its main propulsion system. So
Okay.
like making the distinction between the two in this situation is like kind of weird.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
like
Well, I'm gonna be kind of weird. They can't hear your reaction thrusters.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
that
yeah.
makes sense.
When you turn in place, so you can literally always look behind you and see if they're in sight.
And,
Okay.
if you can see them, they can hear you.
Yeah,
Right.
if they
that,
can
that I sort of figured out eventually.
if you can see their silhouette in any way, they will react to you firing your engines.
Okay.
And once you know that crucial piece of information, they become.
Yeah, I
Utterly
eventually
trivial.
figured it out, but like I definitely died like
Oh, yeah.
6 or 7 times before I really like.
Oh, I
got
died way more
through.
than that. Like I smashed my head against
I was
that
real
rock.
shit scared of them as part of it, so I was super careful most of the time.
Yeah, there was 3 distinct times in the game where I thought to myself, I'm finally done with the Dark Bramble, and I'm never gonna have to go back there again. Thank God.
No, and then you did.
Yeah, that's the ending of the fucking game. I
Yep.
couldn't believe it when the last time came up, and it was like, no, we were done last time. God damn it.
So
Here's the thing: go back to the place you hate.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that helps the game though. That particular thing being the trigger, because it puts an urgency into your last few runs.
I think that there's a definite feeling when doing that. I think the game could do a lot better of a job of telling that the trick you told Keenan.
Yeah. That's definitely like a lesson the game. After you learn it, you can see how it's trying to show you, but they really don't.
And it's only like written out in one place,
Yeah.
right? Like you could infer it with a bunch of runs or something
Yeah,
like that.
I think
but-
if the game sees you like shooting off the planet, targeting the Dark Bramble, going into it and dying within 2 minutes, and doing that like 5 times in a row,
It
that
could
guy
clue you
sitting
in.
at the campfire should stop you and go, "Hey, you have like a really frustrated look on your
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
Maybe whatever you're doing, you should try doing something different," or like some other homie wisdom. I don't know. Harthians are weird.
Yeah, like there's like a lack of pushing the player around in this game that like initially was frustrating, right? Like I never felt like I got a nudge in a direction. I had another clue that I could choose to care about.
Which I feel like is very core to what the game is.
Yeah, I think for the most part, that philosophy of never pushing the player anywhere is like maybe what makes this game kind of brilliant.
But
Yeah.
there's no safety net.
Yeah, you don't need a safety net.
But I'm saying
The safety net's the time loop.
okay, but I mean
I definitely hit a point where I would hit a time loop. I would start over, and I'd be like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't like.
did you ever check your like
Like I
your
would. I
log?
eventually figured out like, okay, I need to go in the log and see what
Yeah.
is trailing
The
off
log
of the
is-
things I
the
know.
log
Yeah,
is
the
very
log
helpful.
is super important.
But,
Yeah,
like-
you get like a computer interface that's basically the conspiracy nut with newspaper clippings and yarn on the wall.
Yeah.
But like in a useful, productive way, not in a television shorthand for telling you this person's crazy.
It actually shows you how things are connected rather
Yeah.
than how you might.
And it's
think
also
they are.
better at remembering all the details of the shit you've seen than you are.
mm,
You know, like being able to look over things and
yeah, I think like there was a couple of points where I was really frustrated with that thing where I'm like, I'm damn sure I've been everywhere that I can think of in this space. And you're still telling me more.
And it still says there's more to find,
more
and
to
that's
find
all
here.
it says.
And also it would tell me there was more to find in places. And the more to find was that I needed to go somewhere else and get teleported to that place, which I didn't feel was especially helpful. But I want to have a conversation about my biggest beef with the game is that now that I've finished it, with my memory, I probably won't be able to get anywhere close to the experience that I had.
yeah, you'll never get it back.
Well, not even that I won't get it back because that's gone. But like with I used to go back and replay Monkey Island 3 a lot when I was younger, and it would it would take me a few minutes to like remember the rules. But because each rule and each puzzle was so hard fought, and it was so indelible in my brain, oh, I found this back way into this thing that takes me 20 minutes to get to normally. right? Those are all burned in there, right?
And it's not that there's anything in the gameplay that walls you off from it except finding it.
Right.
Right.
It's the launch codes. That's the only thing in the game you actually pick up.
Yeah.
Also,
And
the launch codes are always the same across. Like it's not in any way a randomized sequence.
Right. I do, however, like on the flip side of that, the execution of this game is fucking crazy in that as a player you keep learning, and then because there's a mechanism in the game to keep track of that through each time loop,
Yeah.
it unfolds in a way other games can't.
It's totally unique.
Yeah. It takes the whole idea of the time loop and sucking at it in a Star Trek sense and makes that both fun and exciting, right?
Yeah, it's like if you took like Majora's Mask and like stripped everything away from that game,
Okay.
like just stripped it right down to its bones. Like it's not even an action game
Right.
anymore. There's not even a lot of people to talk to.
Right.
There's not like mechanic-y things you have to do a lot. It's just like it's stripping Majora's Mask down to just learning basically.
Yeah, and like that.
There's a purity to it.
Yeah, there's a really interesting like. I want to hold it up as like the best walking simulator.
Oh,
in
absolutely.
quotes.
I think
like
so
we
when
talked
I
about
when,
that on Discord, right?
when I first got this game, I saw a lot of people compare it to Myst, and I never.
which I see the parallels.
I can see it. I never really got into Myst, but the thing I kept finding myself comparing it to the most was comparing it to like quote unquote walking simulators, comparing it to games like Tacoma or Gone Home,
Right.
where it's like all you do in those games is pound your feet on the ground and learn about shit.
Right, you experience an environment, you learn from it, and
Yeah.
you progress through that.
Yeah, there's no hacking mini games. There's no whatever.
It's
Yeah.
such an interesting parallel to Rumu.
Oh yeah.
Like the juxtaposition. It's like fucking Whiplash, right? It's like
Here, go everywhere. Here,
well-
go right
well,
here.
Well, because it's like Rumu is a sort of outgrowth of that adventure game walking simulator
Mm-hmm.
life, you know, and going in a completely different direction gameplay wise from the Outer Wilds.
Yeah.
Right. And just that complete
we
Whiplash.
accidentally back-to-backed
Yeah,
them.
we accidentally back-to-back them. I think is really funny.
Yeah.
And then also, yeah, I mean, remember we talked about
Also, Room is a character that focuses entirely on characters
Right.
that you are speaking to or,
Right.
or listening to speak.
Right,
They-
whereas here the environments are the
in many
characters.
ways they go in opposite directions
Yeah.
on whatever sliders you care to
Yeah.
talk about. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, you had talked about Astroneer previously.
Yeah.
Right, and how Astroneer is to you the best example of that sort of survival crafting Minecraft-esque
Yeah.
thing. It's the best iteration of that so
Or
far.
at least the best iteration in terms of like exploration. I would say. Because Minecraft is more a game about like has more of a focus on like creativity and building things and that type of thing, and like you can't really build things in complex and creative ways in Astroneer. Like you get a terrain gun and you can like make lumpy like snow fort style shapes with
Right,
it.
but the things you build are there to serve getting other things that help you
Yeah.
get further along in the mystery.
But yeah, I think in terms of like Astroneer has like a very specific calibration of goals from that genre.
Right, so
and I think it
those
expresses
really
it
Oh,
the
work
best.
for you,
Yeah.
and it's the best iteration of that kind of game for you in terms of that. But my extrapolation, my point was that you were saying that this is similar with Sunset, Gone Home, Tacoma, all them. This is the best iteration of that
Yeah, I think so.
for that kind of thing.
Yes and no, because like like even like comparing it to like Gone Home, the scope of that story is about a very small set of specific people and their specific emotional journeys and things like that, and Outer Wilds is about
it's about a mystery of the universe.
about like a civilization level melancholy.
yeah.
And so like even there the goals are still somewhat divergent, and it feels weird to me to compare them because like Gone Home is a much more even though you're free to wander the house as you choose, it's still a much more guided experience than
Yeah.
Outer Wilds
It's
is.
more contained.
But I'm saying like just as far as genre goes.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I put them in the same genre, and I think this game is absolutely fucking brilliant. Like, it's.
I
don't what say?
I don't know. I don't.
Okay.
That's why I
That's
made
chef kiss.
because
That's
I
not-
don't know my word.
I really enjoyed the sort of inverse, like, you look at the game and you're like, oh man, the scope is huge, and then as you uncover more, it becomes less.
Oh yeah, the whole solar system becomes tiny. It becomes
Right.
It feels like
Well, it is tiny.
It feels like a city when you.
Right, but when you first come off the planet, you're like, holy shit, there's a lot here, and then like that.
It feels like you're looking at a city when you start, and by the time you're done with the game, it feels like you're looking at like your neighborhood or maybe even just your block.
Right,
Like I know all these backyards.
yeah.
Like I know how to get to this orbital cannon. I know how to get to the quantum moon. I
Right,
know
when
how
you're
to
when you're goal oriented in this game, you're like, I'm in the ship, I'm going there,
Yeah.
I got it.
like all the planets seem absolutely huge, even though they're. Look, we haven't talked about this at all. Like the solar system is like comically tiny.
yeah.
I
Like
actually love that.
yeah, I love it too, and it's like one of those things where it's like you have to not take it too seriously because like it doesn't make sense that Harthian civilization is like 10 people.
It's 10 people who make spaceships out of wood.
And
It,
like
it does if my theories about what Harthians are.
okay, but like
pan out.
but like who makes the rocket engines? Like where do they smelt the metal? Where do they come up with words like space program?
If my theories about what Harthians are true or anywhere close to true, that all makes sense. So
You know, and like but like you get what I'm saying though. Like
Yeah.
like you have these like absurdly tiny planets. You get the emergency oxygen trees. You know, like you'll come across these astronauts that have crash landed and they're like, "Oh, just plant some trees. That way you never run out of air." And it's like you know, like
Fuck you, I don't have a tree. Like, I really like.
you have a tree inside your ship in a little.
So
potted
I really like
little
that this
pot.
game feels like the exact opposite of what you were talking about with Vampire, in that this game created its scope and filled it
Yeah,
instead of.
this game was also in development for like 6 years.
Okay, that's fair, but like,
or
this
more than
game,
that,
I
I think.
feel like they tied off all the loose ends, finishing it up
Yeah.
in the opposite way of what that other game struggles from. Right? Like, I feel like there's a very clear delineation on when something was supposed to do something and when it isn't, and that here it is, right? Rather than it being, I don't feel like any of the things I missed because they weren't there. I feel like I just didn't prioritize that, right? Yeah,
I started running into a problem towards the end of my playthrough where I would complete the big task that whatever area asked me to do, and it would give me information I already knew.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was getting really frustrating.
That'll
towards the end.
happen because like all the planets, all the places you can go, because they're not even all planets, are all designed so that like you can't miss the big thing on the other planet.
Right.
Which means you have to put that clue 5 places.
Right. This clue is in 5 places along the web, so that no matter where you go, you run into it.
Because the worst thing in this kind of game is when you need to learn something and there's only one place to find it,
Like-
and you can't.
like the anglerfish thing.
Okay, but like, you sure.
Yeah,
But,
I'm
like-
saying that's the only example. I
But
can
it's
think
why
of.
there's all that redundant information.
Right.
Like the fact that we're only talking about it with regards to the anglerfish.
one thing,
Yeah,
right.
the one place where you learn that piece of information. The fact that that's the only one
What piece of information
of
specifically?
how to not get the anglerfish to eat
There's
your
only
ass.
one place where they actually point out
Where
like, they respond to noise.
Okay. But I feel like you have to go to the sunken city, though.
Yeah,
right?
no, for sure. But like, that was like one of the last places that I checked off, and so I'd gone to the Bramble before and been like, I don't get this.
But so what I'm saying is like the thing you're experiencing like is legitimately frustrating. I think all 3 of us experienced that, but it's also like an unavoidable like symptom of like I think one of the better things in its design.
It's necessary the way this is laid out
Yeah.
for that to happen. And also it makes sense in the context of like there's only like less than 20 of those people writing those things.
yeah,
So, like,
of the Nomai.
You're going to have some repeat
Yeah.
conversations.
There's like I think less than a dozen.
Yeah, I didn't really keep track of names.
Yeah, I
too
didn't keep
hard,
track.
but-
There's a couple of names that stick out. Poke and Pie,
Yeah.
specifically, and then Solanum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that guy.
Solanum's a cool guy. He might be dead though. So Did I ever relate to you guys the story of how I made it to the North Pole on the quantum moon?
I don't think so.
So on each planet, I had noticed that there is an interesting thing on the north, south, and equator.
Oh, so those hooks are like there throughout?
So any planet you go to,
I guess,
except
yeah,
with
no.
the possible exception of Giant's Deep, there is always something interesting on the equator. There's always something interesting on the North Pole, and there's always something interesting on the South Pole. And when I noticed that the quantum moon wasn't letting me go further north, I was like, "There's something cool on the North Pole.
Sure.
How do I get there? What is it?" And then from there, I
inferred.
used the quantum rules and the tower to get
Yeah.
further north. And eventually, that was how I got to Solon without doing like half the quantum rule puzzles that you're supposed to.
Well,
So-
and then I love that you get to the North Tower, you get to the 6th point,
Yeah.
and then you go all the way around to get to
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
go all the way to the other end of the planet, which like really hammered that home for me at that point. Was like, there's fucking nothing here. Keep going, keep going. Oh, I'm at the other pole. I get it, right? Like,
Oh my god, dude! So when I got to him the first time, I was like, first of all, I don't ever want to do that again because it took forever.
Yep.
And when I got to him, basically the second I started fucking around with tiles and talking to him, scare quotes, the music started playing.
Yep.
Yeah,
Me
and
too.
and I was like,
Yeah, no, like,
and then your girlfriend started like talking to me, and I'm like, shut up, Bree, stop talking to me.
No, like that's how I got there, and I'm like, yes, breakthrough. And then I'm like looking at the things, and then it's like, no, and I'm like, no, not yet.
So, did you ever go to where Solanum is on the quantum moon when it's not in the 6th position?
I don't think so.
His corpse is there in a quantum state. So
Hell
if you
yeah.
look away and look back, he'll be like slumped over and look away and look back, and he'll
Yo,
be
yeah,
face
I did
down.
go to that. Yeah,
And it's
no,
like,
Nope.
and it's very. Even as accustomed as I was to quantum rules, seeing this like corpse rearrange itself,
Yeah, that was
was,
really
like,
freaked me
it was
out.
very upsetting.
Did you go to the lake bed cave on Ember Twin?
Yes.
Because the same thing happens with the skeletons
Yes,
down there.
yes, yes.
Yeah, and that's why, like, when it was a full blown corpse this time, I was like, ah!
Yeah.
I like that the deeper you get, the more that happens. Right? Like the closer you get to the truths of this game, in air quotes,
Yeah.
the more you need to do the quantum thing.
Oh, sorry. Do yours first.
So you know, at the very end, like
Yeah.
after you complete all this shit, and you go to the magic glade at the end of time.
Mm-hmm. Man, that sequence.
Okay, but like we'll talk about that in a minute. I want to talk about
That's
one,
a whole other
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I want to talk about one specific part of that though. There's the part where you have to go round up the band, and each one has like a different thing you have to do, and one of them is an anglerfish gets you.
Right.
That anglerfish is a quantum object. If you turn off your flashlight when it comes at you, it disappears,
Hell yeah.
and you don't have to get eaten once.
Nice.
I found that out on my I played through the ending a few times because I liked it so much, and also once you know how to do it, you can just do it.
Just do it, yeah.
And I was like,
Does the timer stop when you get there?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Because I think I ran through it in the space of one loop, so I was like, it's not interrupting me. Like,
No. If you don't know what you're doing, beating this game takes 35 minutes.
okay.
Like if you know all the stuff about the solar system but haven't experienced the ending yet,
Right.
like haven't gathered the band and stuff, beating the game takes about 35 minutes.
Okay.
I remember, so I just wanted to share one story real quick. I was watching a YouTuber play this game after the fact because I wanted to like watch someone else.
I wanna
play
see
the
how
game for the
how
first
else
time.
I
this
wonder
gets
if we watched the same
experienced.
video because I also did this.
Was it Kraken?
I don't know.
Okay.
It was a no commentary.
Oh, mine was
Run.
commentary.
Okay.
So is like face cam commentary. He lands on the first planet and discovers the cool thing about that planet and goes, "Oh wow, does every planet in the solar system have something cool about it?" And I was like, "Yes, it does." Yes, it does.
They all do. Actually, that's not quite true. The fucking magma moon that orbits Brittle
Oh, does
Hollow-
nothing.
Yeah, has nothing.
I didn't even go there, so I'm glad
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
I looked at that, I was like, nope.
But its cool thing is related to
Yeah.
so it's like-
It's probably better to think of it as a cool attribute of Brittle Hollow
It's an
Yeah.
accessory to Brittle Hollow.
rather than being a place in its own right.
Did anyone go to the Sun Station?
Yeah.
yeah.
I did not.
Oh, really?
I couldn't ever really find a good way to get there without just falling into the sun.
There's a
You
teleporter.
teleport.
Oh, man.
You can land on it.
Right? No, like I tried a couple times. And I was like,
if you play on
I-
Xbox, you get an achievement for it. Like,
I did land on it and exploded immediately because I was too high velocity.
oh, there you go.
Anyway,
Yeah.
So-
right, because the sun's pulling.
Yeah,
That was my issue. Is I missed it a couple times real close because I was just too
Well,
fast.
it's not even that the sun's so fast. It's moving horizontally so fast around the sun that
Yeah.
you need to have matched.
Yep.
Like, I'm moving my finger. You can't see this, people, but like,
Yeah, the match velocity
yeah,
thing there is
your
difficult.
relative velocity to it is going to be very high.
Yes, it was when I
Yeah.
exploded.
I love the story to this game so much too. Like it threads this needle of like it's all cute, it's all twee. You're all in your little model kit spaceship, and everyone says like cute and funny things, and they're all sort of weird and charming and folksy.
Put on this bubble helmet with a poncho, and you're safe in space.
Yeah, but also like at the same time, it's never too much. It's never saccharine. Like it's not going to give you a stomachache on that shit. And also, the whole game is so fucking melancholy and sad that like rummaging through the remains of this destroyed civilization, this unfulfilled civilization. Like
Yeah.
they as a culture have this need and desire to learn about the eye of the universe.
Right. They accidentally stumble on this, and now all of them come here, and none of them have figured
and
it out.
they almost got there.
Yeah.
They are so close.
Yeah.
When the interloper came and killed everybody.
Yeah.
Like they are so unbelievably close.
I really like the interloper. It's a fun level.
Yeah, the interloper. I remember I was talking to you when you were partway through the game, and you just hadn't experienced all the story yet, and you're like, I noticed the interloper ran into the sun, and then the solar system blew up. I think the interloper is blowing up the solar system, and it's like I remember like seething in place. Like I want to tell him because the interloper flies very close to the sun, and when the sun is about to go nova, it grows tremendously. And so it's not that the interloper hit the sun,
like the loops work.
the interloper
right.
did not hit the sun and trigger it. It's that the sun grew to occupy the space that its orbit would normally be.
No, because it hits the sun at 17 minutes.
Yeah,
That's what starts the music.
the sun changes before the music starts.
Okay.
Yeah, the sun swells.
The sun begins changing color and changing diameter.
All right.
Because this is explained in the museum, but it's also true about like our sun and suns like our sun.
Right.
That like towards the end of their life they will become quite large. But,
Yeah.
but like a long
Our
time
sun will swallow Mars.
a long time before they go nova.
Yeah.
even. You know, like there will be an era of our solar system where our sun like reaches like the orbit of Mars, and like all of the rocky terrestrial planets are gone.
Yep.
And it's literally just that this sun is at the end of its life.
Well, and like rapidly, right? Like
Yeah.
there's an acceleration process.
Yeah,
to that.
yeah. There's like a certain simplification. Like the way I have to think of it in my head is that like the world that Outer Wilds exists in is in a universe where when the universe began, physics rolled just a little bit differently than
Yeah.
they do for us. So like all the rules are like kind of the same, but like everything's like
They're familiar, but not the same.
yeah, like the fact that like all the stars in the sky seem to be dying at the exact same time is like kind of weird. Like
Yeah.
that, like the end of the
But
universe.
I thought that I thought that the stars were all dying because of the time loop.
I don't think so,
Because
because the sun station never worked.
no, I know that, but I'm saying the sun exploding because the interloper hit it in the first time loop is what gave the project the energy it needed to work. And then the fact that it's working over and over and over again for the extremely long period that it is working, and the suns still go through their normal lifespan, and then they're all exploding. They have all reached the end of their lifespan at different points, at different time loops, but they're all stuck in that end of lifespan 22 minutes. That's what I thought was happening. Maybe I'm wrong?
I don't know.
I think it's that their project required the sun to go nova. You read that they tried to make the sun go nova and failed to do so. The interloper kills everyone by arriving and scattering ghost matter everywhere. The Nomai relics have lain here for God knows how long. We are at the end of our solar system's life when the sun naturally goes nova. The sun goes nova. It triggers the Nomai technology, which then rewinds
Which you
22
then
minutes.
get stuck in. Okay. Huh.
Okay, but then how does the interloper go in the sun the first time? If it's not going in because the sun's expanded.
It does though. We don't need the interloper is not a triggering event.
No, but that's what I'm saying is you're saying that it goes in and it kills everything with the ghost matter.
Well,
in
I
the
think
first
I think its arrival in the solar system is what killed everyone.
No, because there's a specific thing where they call out that it going into the sun is what spread the ghost matter everywhere in the solar system. This is a thing I remember.
I don't remember.
don't
I mean,
think
I never
ran
read
into
that.
Like I can't.
I don't remember where I read that or why I have that impression, but I remember like talking to somebody or something about how the ghost matter being spread throughout the solar system so rapidly was a result of hitting the sun because it was all trapped inside the interloper.
My understanding was just so in the way that the interloper sublimates its ice when it gets closer to the sun. My understanding was just that it just shit out ghost matter when because like that's what comets do.
Right,
Like,
right.
They lose tremendous amounts of matter when they make like a sun dive like that and have that big comet tail. And so I always took that to be my understanding of how the ghost matter got fucking everywhere.
Okay.
Is that the comet has been orbiting and
It's solar
shedding
winded.
its
Yeah.
matter across the solar system for however long the interloper's been here. And then I read a thing online. I don't know how true this is. That basically the reason that the Harthians are fine with the ghost matter is that they are born underwater, like they live in water, and ghost matter never occurs underwater. Ghost matter water appears to shield from that.
Okay.
Whereas like the Nomai settled on all these like awful arid planets, like, and it's also why the anglerfish are fine, is they live in like this like weird fluidic space.
Okay. Cool game.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the box quote. Cool game.
Yeah, I
Cool
always
game,
thought that
dash,
since
Conky
the
Bong.
since the Nomai like don't mention the Harthians, right? Because they went to
They mention them slightly.
When?
They if you go to
The
Timber
mine,
Hearth-
right?
Yeah, in the mine, they say like, hey, so we noticed there's life forms here, and I feel kind of bad taking all the metal from this planet to go make the Ash Twin project. Good thing we're not taking all of it because like they're gonna
If something evolves here, they're gonna need it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's straight up what he says. It's like we should leave some for them. But like
Which is why most of what you have is made of wood.
the Nomai ruins on Timberhearth are like the least essential in the entire game. They're
Yeah.
they're really just textual.
Yeah.
They're like just
It's
texture.
cool, though.
Yeah.
It's a cool environment.
Did you guys ever fuck with the Dark Bramble Seed that's on Timberhearth?
Yeah.
I only found it like way after I got deep into.
I mean, all you can do is shoot a probe.
Bramble,
with it,
but
so.
it's just supposed
When
to
you
be,
get to the bramble, your probe's fucking there.
yeah.
Even through time loops. I got to the bramble and I had like 4 clone signals.
Oh, okay.
It was fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, it's really obviously just supposed to be there as like a way to direct the player. Like, hey, you could go look over here. You know, like you shot your probe in that little pointy hole.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like you didn't leave the home planet yet. Here's a nudge.
Yeah.
Right? Like. Okay. Yeah. Cool game. I liked it.
Do you have anything else to say?
I didn't know what to expect. And then it was great.
I love this game very dearly.
I don't know that I'll ever meet a game that does this well.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
the thing that
it's-
I'm scared of. Like,
It's just so very tightly written.
yeah, it's real clean.
Oh, how many endings did you guys get? There's a few.
I
2.
think I actually found everyone. So, like,
Tell me about your endings, Keenan. Tell me in
endings?
single words things about your mother.
3. I got 3 endings.
I don't know. I watched a person's ending on YouTube, and I felt like I got the same thing as them. So, like,
Okay.
I think they were like, "Oh, all people found," or
So-
whatever.
So there's like a handful of joke
So,
endings.
I don't know what I missed. I guess.
So like if you start a new game, you can go kill yourself before you pair with
Yeah,
the
I did
mask.
that one.
Oh, okay.
And it just says you died and rolls credits.
Okay. So I got an ending when an anglerfish killed me. 'Cause
Okay.
It said you died.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because you had the core out.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
took
Yeah.
the core out of the Ash Twin
Yeah.
and died. Yeah. I got something like that because when I took the warp core out of the Ash Twin project, it didn't immediately click in my head where it went. It's like,
Yeah.
cool, I guess I'm just supposed to sit here and watch the universe die now.
Yeah.
and it did, and it rolled the credits, and I was like, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
Let's try that again.
Yeah.
You can create, you can tear apart space-time.
Oh, really?
In the high energy lab, you can make a miniature white and black hole. Did you ever get there?
I went there, but I didn't make anything there. I only
So-
The
explored
high energy lab or the black hole forge?
I believe it's a high energy lab.
Okay.
I don't think so because I never got to the black hole.
They talk about there that it is observable that when something goes into a white hole, it comes out of the black hole before it enters the event horizon.
right
of the
the
white
same
hole.
way.
So, if you shoot your probe at the little white hole you make and then unplug the system, a second probe comes out, but yours can no longer enter the event horizon of the first one, and you have two probes when you should have one, and dark bramble vines creep out of the edges of the screen and the universe ends, and it says you destroyed the fabric of space-time.
That's awesome.
And then it plays an all-kazoo rendition of the end credits music, at the end of which someone says, "Oh God, it's awful," or something like that.
That's
like
great.
It's fantastic. There's one more too. Like I'm not sure how you do this, but there's a way to get the band at the end and not have Solanum at the end.
Whoa. Okay.
Which it just seems like a bummer, because like I want that person to be with us at the end of the universe.
He's a
right?
homeboy.
Wait, with the Nomai?
Yeah,
He shows up in the ending?
yeah.
Where?
You can go find him.
Yeah. He's one of
the band members you can find out in the woods.
he's one of the signals in the woods.
Yeah,
don't remember.
there's some Nomai ruins, and I think his instrument's trapped inside. Is that what it is?
Well, that's just the banjo guy.
Oh, is that the banjo one? Which
That's not Solanum.
no, Solanum's out there though. You can
He's
have him
there
at the end.
because he was there at my campfire.
Alright,
Yeah,
it wasn't at
because
mine.
you know that staff that he has.
Yeah.
He pokes it with his fingers and it makes piano music.
Okay.
The staff seem really cool.
Yeah.
'Cause that's how you write on walls too.
Yeah, writes on walls. It's a synthesizer. Like fucking great.
Yeah. If you haven't already, you should play it.
Yeah,
It's a cool game.
It's a game that like really tapped it. It tickled my emotions in a way of like the way people who in our generation feel about the impending end of our own world. Like it really kind of tapped into that a little bit for me, of like living in a world that is inexorably doomed.
I think the thing that's interesting about this game to me is I didn't know I wanted it,
Yeah,
and then I didn't know it could be this good. Right? Like both of those things happened in my time with it, where it was like I didn't even know I wanted a time loop game, and then holy shit, how did you make a time loop game this good? Like,
Yeah.
how did I actually enjoy this experience this much? Like, because like there's so many ways you could pitfall yourself on time loop game
oh yeah.
to make it like an egregious gameplay loop.
Yeah. So like every time you end a loop, even if you were in the middle of something, getting back to that place is like a couple minutes.
Yeah, like the sort of cascade of knowledge and experience
there's not
means that it's not hard to get
There's
back
only
to
a
those
few places
things.
in the game that are like at all a lengthy process to get to.
Yeah.
And those ones are usually of some import in like momentousness. You know what I mean?
But
that-
usually if you dedicate like a single run, you can get most of it.
yeah.
Right,
But just knowing's half the battle. Like,
Right.
that's really all you're getting when you go there. Like
Right.
you don't have to fight your way through a bunch of enemies. You don't have to do a bunch of hacking mini games to open all the doors.
Right. If there were tons of execution challenges in the way in this
Yeah.
game, it would suck.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm running out of things to say about this game. It's fucking. It's
Amazing that a game can be this way.
Well, and it's amazing that the game could be in development for this long and still be mysterious by the time it comes out.
Yeah.
Like this game has been in early access for 6 years.
Wow.
Which I don't know what to make of that. Like
It's possible, apparently.
the game is someone's thesis from like for school,
Huh.
apparently, in like narrative design in games or something like that. I don't know.
Neat.
I saw thesis advisors listed in the credits, and it made me curious, and I like did a little googling.
Right. Someone's standing on a stack of books going, "It's possible!"
Yeah.
And here's how!
You got anything left in you, Matt?
Nah. I mean, no.
Alright.
Nah. It is what it is. We didn't spoil that as much as I thought we would. We didn't really talk about specific solutions other than the anglerfish.
Yeah.
So
But I think that's, like... Yeah. Infinite spoiler, all that, but, like... I think we all respect the experience enough. Is part
I
of
don't
it.
even think it's necessarily that. I think that the game is about how you feel
Yeah.
doing it, not about doing it.
Okay.
Right?
This game is literally the journey, not the result.
Yeah, which is interesting because it's one of the only games I would actually give a shit about spoiling for someone.
Right.
Right. If I were to give away information that they could find for themselves in the game,
It feels like telling someone how to feel
uh,
to me. Like that idea of being
I don't
like,
know about that.
you gotta go here and do this and get this. Like doesn't.
yeah, whatever process they have to go through to earn that information, rather than have me tell it, I would be taking that from them.
Right, and
is-
that
is
doesn't
the
sit
thing.
right.
Like there is one point in the game where I would say I don't agree, and I think you should just fucking tell your friends how to solve this puzzle, which is the stupid ass squids.
Oh yeah, getting under the squid.
Getting under the squid. The everything in that whole. You did that, right?
the core.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
to the core.
Yeah, I had to look that up.
Right.
Like
I looked
had
it
to.
up.
I had
like
to ask
I
Owen.
legit had to look that up, and that's like one of the only things that I felt the need to look up.
And that's like everything in that room, the core, like everything under the surface, indicates that you shouldn't be touching electrical shit.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the one disconnect.
Right. So I had to be like, "What? There's nothing down here. How do I get in the thing?" And no one was like, "It has something to do with the squids." And I was like, "Well, they're the only thing that goes down, so obviously. So what do I do?"
Get in it. We're almost.
And that's why we give this game a shameful 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's do the end stuff. The other stuff we got. Because we're done
It's
talking
not.
about
It's
the
not
game.
the end stuff. It's the last third of the podcast.
Okay, well, let's get to it.
Don't tell me what to do. I'm holding this.
I don't have a thing for my thing.
Yeah, you. What do you mean thing for your thing?
There's no wrestling thing.
Okay, wasn't gonna ask.
Okay.
Right.
No wrestling thing.
No. So this is the time where we talk. Hey, who made this game?
Mobius Games.
Okay. Have they made anything?
I believe this is their first release.
Okay.
Actually,
do you think they will make another thing? Do you know how this game did, or?
I don't know. I know
part of the Epic Game Store controversy.
it's on the
quotes.
Epic Game Store, and I think it's also on Microsoft's Game Pass.
Yeah.
So I think it got.
It is on Game Pass. Yeah.
Which means they don't get money for the sales of it necessarily, but Microsoft presumably handed them a large sack
Yeah,
of money.
my understanding is that's a lump sum,
Or-
and
or-
then you get the exposure.
or is being handed sacks of money on the reg. I don't know
Right.
for as long as it's on Game Pass. So presumably they're doing all right. Hopefully they'll release something just as great in 6 years.
Hopefully, it doesn't take 6 years.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I lied about wrestling. I have an update to last show's dumb wrestling thing.
What was last episode's wrestling
The
thing?
24/7 championship.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah.
So, R-Truth, the guy
This
who
isn't
regularly
the time that you do this.
should I not
it
do
can
it right now?
it can be the time.
It isn't though.
Our wrestle boy has a wrestle spear
So-
crawling out of his mouth.
Fuck.
So R-Truth, the guy who regularly misunderstands which match stipulation is in play, has won the title again and has started calling it the 7-Eleven Championship.
That's all right.
Yeah. That's
Perfect.
It's available to be stolen from 7 to 11. Yeah, it's really funny to me that all 7-Elevens are like 24-hour these
Yeah.
days. When
Even though that's why it's named
the name
that.
is literally 7 to 11 because that's when it's open.
Yep.
Right? Like, it's one of those things. All right, this is actually the time when we talk about the bad standards.
Yay, bad standards.
Which I remember last time we did this, Aaron hated it, and he's here again. So, how many payday twos?
Oh, let's get the zero payday.
How
twos.
many,
Zero
how many
payday
payday
twos.
twos out of 5 does this game get? I actually disagree with that. I think that no, I think like
No, I'm listening.
because before okay, you fuckers, this is actually your fault. So before the Payday 2 award has been used to justify really emotive music in the game, and I think that this game has that. Especially the fucking when the track kicks in on minute 19, right? And it really start like, boy, does it really get you. And
Yeah.
I think it deserves one solitary point in Payday 2
Okay.
for that very reason.
All right, fair. The music is a trigger.
And
like,
I-
absolutely.
And yeah, and I hope
It's
at
got
least
good music.
I hope at least one of you agrees with me.
No, I'm with it.
It's not just good though. It's
it does things to you.
It
Like,
specifically evokes an emotion the way that Payday 2's music does.
Okay.
Right, but it's a completely different emotion, but it's still like it does that. And hey, shout outs to Vicklin, right?
Yeah.
Right,
always.
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 All right,
Vicklin presents
always.
the Payday 2.
How many Spelunkies out of 5 does this game get? I think 4.
I'm going to go the opposite on that. I'm going to say like 1.
Why 4?
Because of the extremely polished nature of this game. Every single moment of the experience is polished in a way. They're completely opposite games. I get where Owen's coming from, right? Like, but I think that Spelunky is in and of itself an extremely polished indie experience where every single moment is thought about.
It's very easy for the developer to say, "Here it is."
Right. Whereas
Be done, right?
Yeah,
Like-
but then that's clearly not what happened here
Yeah.
or with Spelunky. So 4 maybe is a bit high, but whatever.
I feel like a 3 on those grounds makes sense to me.
Okay.
But in like a holy shit, this game knows what it is sort of way,
Yeah.
not.
I like the thesis you're making. I disagree on the number value.
Okay.
Okay, what's your
but
number?
I've been talked up to a 2.
Okay.
I'd say because like
I can
The-
middle ground to it too.
The
I'm okay
thing
with
is,
that.
the things where this game and Spelunky are not alike are so like diametrically opposed. Whereas Spelunky is a game that is
It's a games game.
It is execution
It's an
challenging.
execution game.
It is the shallowest veneer of a story.
I keep dying.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got the time loop.
Yeah. You're trapped in there, I guess. The walls keep on shifting.
Oh,
But it is an execution challenge from front to
I'm
to back.
uncomfortable with the weird depth we just gave
Keen-
Spelunky.
I would like a 3. Keenan, Owen would like a 2. Please be the arbiter of numbers that you so infrequently
That
are.
way it's your fault, whichever number it gets.
This will come back to haunt you Christmas time.
No matter what,
All
I'm
right.
fucked. I recognize that. I think on the differential range, I'm with the 2.
All right. All right.
It's more different than a like.
Ooh, how many Fallout New Vegases out of 5 does this game get?
This also begs the secondary question of our
Well,
optional award.
well-crafted, tight narrative, diametrically opposed on every single other
think,
level.
I think New Vegas' narrative is well crafted. I don't think it's tight.
You don't think it's tight?
New Vegas is a very big and sprawling and loud and
I think New Vegas'
wide.
narrative is pretty loose butthole.
Okay. I disagree, but all right. I'm on a 2.
Yeah, that's fine.
I can do
with me.
2. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's.
I don't have
justifiable.
I don't have strong feelings about it. I find it hard to compare these two.
I want to caveat this next one by saying that it's Keenan's fault.
Okay.
How many TIE fighters out of 5?
Ooh, you fly spaceships, so that's at least 1
Yeah,
point.
It's at least 15 points. Right?
I think 1. Yeah, I think spaceship flight.
Yeah.
1.
Oh, Matt, I remember you mentioning to me that you found it annoying that there wasn't a way to view the globe map when you were in your ship on a planet.
What?
You know the little 3D render of the poles and where you are in the dotted line?
Oh, yeah.
There's a way to see it when you're in your ship.
Oh.
You go to the landing camera.
Oh, okay. I hate the landing camera, so that makes sense why I never saw it. All right, Alpha Centauri. Out of 5?
I guess it happens on planets, so that's a 1, maybe more.
I would go with the 2 just based on, like, there's a lot of stuff in Alpha Centauri that's like space mystery crap
Sure.
that you run into, like the fucking the kelp that's all one entity, right?
Yeah, like there's definitely the like mysteries of space
Yeah, which is this whole game.
angle to
Okay,
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
Is that a 2?
that's fine.
that's a
with
2.
me.
Lots of
That's a
2s
2.
today.
Lots of 2s. All right, now it's time for the best part. No, it's not. It's where do they find us?
If you want to subscribe to our podcast, you can go to badplaystyle, or no, it's shame.club and shame.business. You can find us on Twitter at badplaystyle.
And you can email us, and we will send you a game code.
Yeah,
You can email us complaints, comments, Although, let's have a dialogue on Twitter for public's sake.
Yeah.
And if you send us a dick pic, we'll force Matt to see it. Apparently,
Yeah, there
Nope.
we go. There
Nope.
we go. On brand.
at badplaystyle@gmail.com.
And then I skipped this, but we'll just go over it. Anyone got any unrealized dreams or games that should bang? I think this game should bang with more games. I don't know what
Yeah.
other games it should bang with, but
Yeah.
oh,
In this vein, I saw something that claims to use the Nemesis system that I'm excited about, but I can't remember what it is.
oh, everybody claims to use the Nemesis system.
There's
but
something
nobody
out there
does it.
that's coming that like seems to want to do it real good, but we'll see.
I never mentioned that I hate the spaceflight controls in this game. Owen also hates them for completely
Yeah, for
different
very
reasons.
different reasons. I don't hate them, but I find them annoying for slightly different
No, I'm
reasons.
gonna put words in your mouth.
Nope. Nope. I spit them
I
out.
got used to it pretty quick just because I needed to be places.
I just want more out of them. Like, I want... Whatever. This is not the time for me to go
right.
on a diatribe about the spheres of influence and planets and gravitational wells.
So, time for the best part of the show. Sam Fisher presents Who versus Skyburst 3-Foot Edition. Owen, frame it up.
I think our boy's all right.
That's not up to you to decide.
Guybrush Threepwood is the newest member of the Outer Wild Space Program.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's very appropriate for Guybrush to die in a time loop 100,000
Yeah.
because
He's
of the
not actually
the
dying.
sort of like the sort of massive cosmic weight of all the times he should have died but didn't.
Yeah.
Right.
I think he'll succeed. I think he'll do great.
Well, yeah, I mean you kind of have
He
to.
kind of
right?
has to, yeah.
Yeah. He'll make his way to the glade at the end and listen to banjo music.
It's not a question of if, it's when you
But do
succeed.
but like, to what level do you think he'll understand what he accomplished?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah, I feel like that's the.
I don't think I understand what I accomplished.
Like it seems like he would pull the warp cord out of the Ash Twin project and then like get lost and wind up in the dark bramble. and then like it's like, oh damn, how did I even get like?
It's definitely like I stumbled into it.
Yeah, he does. He does not know what is
Oh,
going
hi
on.
guys, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm so glad you're here.
Do you want a breath mint?
Golden toilet, skull.
I don't think anything in this game like really is that like sledgehammery in its set dressing. Like I like everything.
The dead anglerfish on Ember Twin gets damn close,
Yeah,
but it doesn't quite get there.
of all the creatures in this solar system, the anglerfish will be missed the least.
I think it's a good note to end our podcast on.
Yeah.
Hey, what are
Bye,
we playing?
friends!
Wait, what are we playing next?
Oh.
We're fucking that up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What are,
Nothing. Podcast over. No,
what?
I'm just kidding. No, it's Void
I'm
Bastards.
stuck with this name forever.
It's Void Bastards. And yeah, you should be.
You only have to have that name for 22 minutes, but it's 22 minutes and 22 minutes and 22 minutes forever.
All right.
Hey, we should record new bumpers that sound on this quality. Like,
Okay.
Like the spoiler alert and basic Benji and all that, or Bucci.
Can you
Bay.
stop this recording and start a new one so that I don't have to go to the end? Okay. Tell us when you've done that.